There is a poison that requires no brew, no spell, and no magic potion. It needs only a single, quiet whisper in a moment of doubt. This is the story of a queen who drank that poison, and how it took her just 9 seconds to burn down a kingdom it took 8 years to build. Her kingdom was one of love, ruled with her king, a man with the heart of a lion. For 8 years he was her fortress and her fire, a provider who fought for their family. Their life was their castle, and their 3 children were its greatest treasure. It was a strong, happy life. But castles are most vulnerable from within. The trouble began on a still, silent night, long after the moon had climbed high. The queen awoke from a fitful dream, her heart racing. As she lay there, her husband sleeping soundly beside her, his phone suddenly lit up the room. An alarm, a harmless sound. But as her hand reached out to silence it, a different sound filled her mind. It was a voice, slick and sly as a serpent. "Why don't you look?" it whispered. "What if he hides a secret that could shatter your world?" She shook her head, trying to dismiss it, but the whisper was persistent, wrapping around her curiosity and pulling it tight. 9 seconds. That's all it took for the whisper to win. Her fingers, trembling slightly, navigated to the green icon on his screen. And there it was, a name she didn't recognize, words of flirtation, a confession of longing. The world stopped. The air vanished from her lungs. Betrayal, cold and sharp, plunged into her heart. The king, her lion, had a crack in his armor. The fortress had a secret door. Blinded by a storm of hurt and rage, she made her fatal decision. She would not ask. She would not confront. She would make him feel the very same searing pain. The poison of the whisper had reached her heart, and now it demanded revenge. She reached out to the most convenient weapon, an old flame from her past, a man whose attention was always readily available. She planned her move with cold precision, choosing a hotel, a time, a moment of calculated betrayal. What she didn't plan was the cruel irony of fate. For on that very day, in that very hotel, her king was attending a business conference. As she stepped out of the hotel room, her heart still pounding with a mix of guilt and grim satisfaction, she looked up, and her world ended. There he stood, her husband, his briefcase in hand, his eyes wide with the impossible scene before him. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. He simply looked at her, and in that look she saw their entire kingdom crumble into dust. He turned and walked away, his silence a roar that deafened her. When she returned home, her legs could barely hold her. He was waiting, his face a mask of stone. "Go inside," he said, his voice terrifyingly calm. "Pack your things and leave my house." The finality of it shattered the last of her pride. The revenge she had craved now tasted like ash. She fell to the floor, weeping, begging, her tears pooling around the ruins of their life. "Please," she sobbed, "forgive me." Seeing her despair, their families gathered, hoping to mend what was broken. They sat together in the hushed living room, the air thick with unsaid words. They asked the king to speak first, and for the first time in all their years the lion looked broken. A single tear traced a path down his cheek. "Please," he said, his voice raw, "help me ask my wife, what did I do? Was I not a good husband? Did I not provide? What did I do to make her seek another man?" The queen could bear it no longer. The defense she had clung to burst forth. "He betrayed me first," she cried, pointing a trembling finger. "I saw it. I saw the messages on his WhatsApp. He was unfaithful." All eyes turned to the king. Without a word, he took his phone from his pocket and placed it on the table. Her father picked it up and handed it to her. "Show us," he said. A triumphant, bitter fire in her chest, she snatched the phone. She navigated directly to the damning chat, her finger stabbing at the screen. "There, see. Read it for yourselves." The room was silent as her family read. Then her mother spoke, her voice soft and confused. "My child, look at the date." The queen's eyes dropped to the top of the screen. Her blood ran cold. The messages were real. The words were the same, but the timestamp was from a year asterisk before she had even met her king. It was a ghost from a past life, a relic he had never bothered to delete, a secret that was never a secret from her at all. She had not checked the date. In her 9 seconds of weakness, she had seen only what she feared, not what was real. The phone slipped from her numb fingers. The room was utterly silent, the weight of her catastrophic mistake pressing down on her. She had not been betrayed. She had been blind, and in her blindness she had become the very destroyer she feared. She had traded a kingdom for a whisper. And so, the tale is told as a warning. Beware the whispers that feed on your fears, for a heart led by suspicion will always build its own ruin. Before you burn a bridge, be certain you are not standing on the wrong side of the river.